welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of April. If you don't know what your moon or ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will take you to a site that will give you your entire natal chart for free. And then you should come back and watch the videos for your moon and rising signs, because it'll give you a better idea of what's going on with you overall than you'll get from just your sun sign. I've left the window open because it's such a glorious day outside and I can hear the birds, so I really like it. But if it gets too noisy, which it doesn't look like it will, I shall close it. Anyway, thank you so much for the continued support from those people who are subscribed to me and have been for a long time. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope to find something here for you. Thank you to the people who have liked and shared the videos, commented on them, sent me messages, donated to the channel. It's all extraordinarily appreciated. I can't tell you how much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, we're using the Crow Tarot today. In fact, the Crow Tarot is wanted to be used for all the readings I've done this week so far. And that is a few. I know I haven't exactly managed to get all through the signs, but I've only done Taurus and Virgo this week, and both of those required multiple readings. Apparently I did 3 for YouTube for Taurus, 1 extended, and then 2 YouTube ones for Virgo and an extended for that as well. They've got some shit going on, all of them. But anyway, it's enough waffling about the other signs. Let's go on with us. So, can I have 3 cards for April for Leo, please? 3 cards for Leo. Interesting. I'm not going to take those just because those were exactly the same 2 cards that came up for Virgo in their reading. Just going to waft those through there and shuffle them again, just to make sure. I'm sure if they're meant to come out, they'll come out again. But let's just make sure the energies aren't getting muddled. Encore une fois. 3 cards for Leo, please, for the month of April. First card that you've got is Judgment. It's a card of Scorpio in the Major Arcana. The next card is the Lovers, card of Gemini. Shit just be breaking everywhere. I have 1 more card. What's coming towards Leo for April, please? Justice. Right, that's 3 for 3 on Major Arcana. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the 3 of Wands. That talks about expansion. It could sometimes talk about travel, but given that half the world is in lockdown at the moment, it doesn't seem like that's very likely. So we're going to go with expansion of some description, right? I like that. Just take that one easy. Yeah. Then we'll go with the standard right away for clarification. Again, just shuffle the shit out of them, make sure that we're getting clean cards. It's almost like to the day when the lockdown was announced in the UK, the sun just came out and it was just glorious outside. And the birds singing. The sky is clear, the air smells cleaner as well. I hope to God when when this is all over and done, it would be nice for it to stay like this outside. I live in what should be a fairly quiet village. Not too far from the Scottish border. But it gets quite busy here sometimes. And And it's been nice for it to go back to a kind of, I don't know, it feels like this is what it would have been like all the time 20 years ago. Anyway, I'm waffling, sorry. Just been really pleased to do your reading, actually. Like yours, I felt excited about. All the others I felt a kind of like trepidation. But Leo's been really bright in my head as a reading, so let's see. Why is the Judgment card here, please? For Leo. Right. So the first card that we've got is the Seven of Cups to clarify judgment. Have another card for judgment, please. Why is judgment here for Leo? And the Four of Swords. Why is the Lovers here? Why is the Lovers here for Leo? Ew. We've got the Fool and the Nine of Cups. Delightful. And then Justice. Why is Justice here for Leo, please? It's Justice. I like to say what's coming towards Leo. What have we got here? It explains why everything was feeling very bright in my head. Like I closed my eyes and it was like literally looking at the sun while my eyes were closed. We've got the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. And that's, you know, that's the small messages of love. Like sometimes it can be an apology. But we'll get into it. So, my lovely Leos. The first card that you've got is Judgment. Like I said, that's a card of Scorpio. And it's sitting in your recent past, touching on your future. And there are lots of different ways, obviously, to to interpret this card. It can talk about the past, and it can talk about making a judgment on things. You know, it can talk about really making a decision about stuff. And as I'm talking, I feel like that is the interpretation that we want to go with this, right? And there are a lot of major arcana out on the table here, right? Like April is quite an important month for Leos, and I don't know about you, but I'm a Leo. I'm a Leo stellium, actually. I've got a lot of Leo in my chart, and I have felt very strongly for the last 6 weeks that something was building, and I didn't really know what it was. Still don't really know what it is, actually. But you know, if you've ever watched any of my videos before for Leo, you'll know that, like, you know, as a collective, we went through a very difficult period for about 2 years, from like August 2017, where we just got smashed up and forced to rebuild in a new, improved version, right, of ourselves, creating a new, improved version of ourselves, like getting all wise and shit, right? And after that 2 years passed, or thereabouts, it really started to feel like things were picking up for Leo. And that has gained traction over, you know, since August last year. It's gaining traction. Things are improving. We are taking charge of our own shit and kind of becoming really present co-creators in our own existence, right? Now, Leos are known for going after the things that they want, but often that comes from a place that is slightly distorted, right? And that's what that 2 year period of smashing everything down was about. It was pulling out those things that distorted what our view was of what we actually wanted, and making it more of a pure foundation, I think, because that's what allows us to then move forwards in you know, vibrating in an energy of love and brightness and all these kind of things. Certainly there seems to be an aspect of service that seems to be coming into the Leo collective mind that might not necessarily have been there before. Anywho, it brings us to this, right? 3 for 3 major arcana. And this is the first one. And I feel like there's been a certain amount of retrospect. There's been a certain amount of assessing perhaps those things that we were clinging to still, even after, everything that we've been through. Things that we thought were good for us that actually weren't, that were only presented to teach us something about ourselves, to empower us in some way, usually by disempowering the shit out of us first, right? And we've made a decision about what we want, more than a decision about what we don't want, which is, I think, the place that we were working from before. It was clarified by the 7 of Cups and the 4 of Swords. Now, the 7 of Cups is it's the options card, right? But it's with this card, I always feel like there's a whole glittering array of options. But ultimately, this silhouetted figure here is in the dark. Lots of things look nice, but all that glitters is not gold. And we've probably had our fingers burned and learned the hard way that those things that we were kind of magnetically attracted to, and yes, I am talking about people, and yes, for Leos, I probably am talking about a twin flame situation, because that whole Leo-Scorpio dynamic seems to be very fucking strong when it comes to twin flame energy. But it doesn't have to be, right? And it certainly could be romantic situations, but it could be any other aspect of your existence. Right? You pick one, it could well be covered by this. It's an improvement in not only discernment, but in a sense of self, right? Because you understand yourself better now. You understand what motivates you. You understand what makes you tick. You understand what you are looking for and what you are not looking for in someone else. And you also understand that a lot of what you used to look for in other people is now something that you can provide for yourself, and you don't look for that in people anymore, right? It's a different kind of mental framework that you are operating within now, right? And instead of being in a constant state of kind of bafflement, reaching out for particular things and them either just kind of slipping from your grasp, or you getting hold of them and then them just being, well, shit, not at all fulfilling and not at all what you wanted. And that kind of dark, empty space still existing inside, right? We learn to fill that space, we do it for ourselves, and then look at most of these cups and go, it's kind of shiny, but it's a triumph of style over substance. And then we've got this taking a break card, right? It feels like the energy that you've been in, and this is probably true for over Pisces season, right? We were all kind of forced to introspect to a level that we didn't really want to. No, that's not fair. No, we introspect well. What we don't like is feeling ungrounded, and Pisces season was spectacularly ungrounded this year. It's usually bad, but this was to the nth degree. And most of the Leos that I know, and particularly the Leo women, although men were affected as well. My son is a Leo, and he was just tilted as shit for the whole of the Pisces season. And he's more calm than I am most of the time. Like, nothing bothers him, but he was just a big ball of rage. Pisces season is about that energy, is about putting you in touch with those airy kind of dreamlike states, that floaty energy, where all things reside. It's the end of the zodiacal year, right? So it's kind of like, it was kind of like wandering around in a dream state, right? But those kind of awful dreams where you can't make anything happen, and you try and shout for help, and it just comes out like, you try and punch someone, and you just like, you cannot move. You try and run away, you can't move, all that kind of thing. It was, if Aries is waking up in the morning with a spring in his step and being excited about the day, then Pisces season is about the surreal, and it's about the ungrounded. It's about the all that. You've worked out what you want. You've worked out what you don't want. You've worked out what you won't accept. And I feel like that time in Pisces season, as uncomfortable as it was for us Leos, really did a lot for you, right? Like somebody called me out in the comments of one of the videos for being condescending about Pisces energy, and I'm really not, like, really not. I know 3 exceptional women who are Pisces women. My daughter is a Pisces. I love them, right? They are incredible, twinkling stars of human beings. But it's a really powerful energy. If it's enough to put all the fire signs out, like it was, and a couple of the air signs, right? That energy that seems so innocent and seems so, pure and untainted and dreamy and like on the face of it, looking like it should be like being, I don't know, mauled by a dead sheep, right? I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm just trying to, the thing is, it actually struck deep in the core, right? Put us in a really, really uncomfortable place where we were sat in the dark, just kind of like, and made us sharpen up as soon as we started coming out of it. And for me, it felt like the day that Mercury went direct was just a different day, right, to the weeks before, right? Got really fucking clear about how we move forwards. Which brings us to the present and the Lovers, right? It's the card of Gemini in the Major Arcana. It's numbered 6, and 6 is about movement, right? If the 5s are about uncomfortable shifts of energy, the 6 is about moving away from that, okay? So you could be dealing with a Gemini. That's possible. But the other card this indicates is a choice, and this is a major life choice, right? In the original depiction of the card, there was a man and 2 women, and he was being called upon to make a choice between the 2, right? It can talk about a loving romantic relationship. Yeah, that's true, and if I didn't mention that, it would be extremely remiss of me, right? But it doesn't have to. It can be a choice about anything, right? As long as it's got that level of major arcana influence on your, existence. What I'm really drawn to, like, there's a snake here, and a snake indicates wisdom to me, right? Ancient knowledge, all that kind of thing. And that fits very well with kind of where we're at as a collective now, definitely. And it could be that you've taken up with someone of late. And you can see these 2 crows with their heads together here, right? This is a meeting of, on all sorts of levels here, heart, soul, spirit, emotion, all of it. Just with the heads together there, like, it just gave me. What is actually really pulling my eye out is these funny little shapes around here. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but they look like eyes. They really do look like eyes. And there's a couple of different ways of looking at that. Like, either you have taken up with someone and there's a sense of eyes on you, or the potential of eyes being on you, because maybe this is someone that there might be an amount of judgment employed by other people if they were to find out that you were together. Or this is about opening up of your eyes, really, for the first time properly. If Pisces season was you being asleep and dreaming, Aries season is about these eyes opening up and really seeing what is lying in front of you, seeing what you want, seeing how to get it, right? The 2 cards that we've got to clarify here are the Fool and the 9 of Cups. Now, the Fool is beautiful. This is excellent. The Judgment card is almost the end of the Major Arcana. It's numbered 20, right? It only goes up to 21, which is the world. It's the end of a cycle, all that kind of thing. So to have this come out here bodes really well. And the Fool talks about moving forwards in perfect perfect love and perfect trust. You know, it's uncharted territory. It's going places that you've never been before, in any respect. And if you have taken up with someone and there is a true meeting of souls and minds and hearts, spirit here, right, moving forwards together, that is going to be uncharted territory for you, because quite possibly you have not experienced that before. And the Nine of Cups is the wish card, right? It's wish fulfillment. I've said before on other videos, like, it always used to baffle me that the Nine of Cups was the wish fulfillment, because, you know, it's only a 9. Why isn't it a 10? You know, the 10s are you know, the pinnacle of the suit, you know. So if 9 of Cups is good, if the 10 of Cups is the pinnacle of the suit and that's like as good as it gets, why is wish fulfillment a step down from that? And it's because there's one person on this card, right? And the more I saw this, the more I started to see the 9s are about the individual, like you as yourself. You know? And the 9 of Pentacles is about taking care of yourself, right? The 9 of Wands for me talks about boundaries, keeping your boundaries up, you know, in amongst other things. The 9 of Swords is about that, you know, internal mental agony that we experience when we are alone. Yeah. This is about, like I said, really working out what makes you happy, what you want, as opposed to what you don't want, right? If we write a list of the things that we don't want, we'd end up with a list like this. And most of us only ever carry that around. So when we meet someone else, as long as they're not pulling up any of the flags that we've got here, the red flags on this list, then they're fine to go. But sometimes they aren't, because sometimes there are things on here that you know, just slightly different, right? Certainly made that mistake between, you know, my first and... Anyway, this is about writing a list of things that you do want, right? And not only that, being able to, like I said, work out those things that make you happy, right? You. And part of that is you making you happy, right? This is moving forwards in a new, empowered way, not only with the ability to be everything that you need for yourself, but possibly with the potential of doing it with someone else. I'm going to pull another card just because, if it is a choice, it seems unlikely that the choice is between taking a leap off into the unknown, as the Fool would suggest, and wish fulfillment. Should just say, the 10 of Cups, if you look at the 10 of Cups, there's usually 2 people on the 10 of Cups, and that's 2 people in a 9 of Cups state coming together, right, to create a relationship that is emotional fulfilling, because it's not about codependency, it's not about relying on the other person to make you happy. This is 2 people who are like this, coming together and creating something beautiful and new, say like in the Fool. Tell me more about this. Cups. Right, we've only got one card to clarify, and it's Justice, which is the next card of the main ones that I pulled, right? Justice is about balance, right? It's about right and wrong, yes. I mean, sometimes it can be about legal situations, you know, contracts and proceedings of any sort, you know. Sometimes it can indicate divorce, but this feels more like proper justice. This feels more like karmic justice, right? You remember I've been saying this for months, from like early to mid-November, right the way through to January, there wasn't a single reading that I did, whether it was for YouTube or a personal reading, you know, for other people. There wasn't a single one where the Justice card didn't come up somewhere, and it was coming up to indicate the end of karmic cycles. It was coming up to indicate that, you know, the completion of karmic contracts and the paying off of karmic debts, right? like I said at the beginning, like Leo had a really, really hard time as a collective between, August 2017 and probably about August 2019. Really, the first year was bad. That was pulling everything down. The second year was about rebuilding that up, and then since August, it's been steadily improving. This is why, right? And it feels like what's coming in is the reward now for having done the work. And fuck me, Leos have done the work. Like, we have worked really, really hard in terms of ascension and in terms of, not just leveling up, but fucking vaulting whole fucking layers, to get up. Like, Leo is up there at the top as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Leo. I'm saying it off the back of the readings that I've seen. I know what the signs are working with collectively. And Leo worked their fucking asses off. They were in some really, really dark places and they pulled themselves up. And not only that, they are now starting to lead again, right? That's what's been coming through for the last 6 months, right? We've been taking up a position, and not out of pride or vanity or anything, or a desire to lead for leading's sake, but it's that experience that we had is now allowing us to light up the way for other people. It's like, follow us, we know where we're going, right? Back where Leo should be, back where Leo belongs, right? This is what's coming towards you in April. And it's clarified by the Ten of Pentacles and Temperance. Now, Temperance can be Sagittarius. Justice could be Libra, but I don't think that it is. I think this is an energy, right? This could be an energy, or this could be Sagittarius. But this is what your Justice looks like, right? This is the Ten of Pentacles. It was sometimes known as the Inheritance card. I'm going to throw that in there, right? Because, again, would be remiss if I didn't mention it. But, not everybody is getting an inheritance every time this fucking card turns up in a reading, right? It talks about more than that, right? Sometimes it can talk about family. Sometimes it can talk about business. But more often than not, it talks about commitment, right? Because being of the Pentacles suit, right? The way that it works, the way that the Pentacles as an energy work is that you have to keep working, and it's little steps, right? There's no cutting corners with Pentacles. You have to fulfill, one layer. You have to do the work for this thing, do the groundwork, right, before you can proceed to the next bit. And that's how earth signs work, right? They do everything in a fairly logical fashion because they know that they have to do these steps to get to where they're going over there, right? Fire signs, usually a little less interested in that. We're kind of bound around, it's like so. But we've got a lot of fire in our belly to do that, we can do that whole starting off with a bang, whereas earth signs are more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're disciplined and they're knuckled down, and they're not afraid to work for the very little reward in the first instance. They're about putting in the work first and gaining the reward right at the very end. And that's kind of a lesson that Leo's been learning, certainly. And here it is. Because if it's a family, it takes time to build that family. It takes time to build that together. It takes commitment as well and hard work. If you've ever raised a child, you know exactly how steep that learning curve is. When they first pop into the world, it's staggering. If it's a business, right? No business just takes off overnight. The most successful companies in the world started off in somebody's fucking garage. Where they're putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours of work before they got any kind of recognition at all. Yes, the growth was exponential thereafter, but there was that underlying, like an iceberg. Success is like 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration, right? Like that's what you get from this card. So ultimately, it's about commitment of some description, and it can lead, and I feel almost certainly will lead, to a significant improvement in your material circumstances, right? And maybe you've started a new business. Maybe you're taking advantage of the fact that everybody is at home, on the internet, and started up an internet business, something like that. Maybe that is good. And then we've got this Temperance card, right? As again, it might be a Sagittarius. You might be getting, commitment from a Sagittarius. Maybe you're going to step up the relationship, something like that. But if it isn't, what it is whatever this is to you, right? It's allowing you to balance yourself out finally, right? All this hard work that you've put in for years now, all of this tearing down and rebuilding, it's been like trying to run on sand for Leos for quite a long time. I think the amount of effort that's been put in, it's kind of felt at times like it was thoroughly outweighed any kind of conceivable benefit that you received from it. Yeah, we all did the work anyway, There was no expectation of receipt or reward for it. It was just fucking getting through, But there's come a point now where the scales are balancing, right? We've got justice twice, scales are balancing. The Temperance card is all about balance. It's about healing. It's about alchemy. It's about turning your painful experiences, such as they have been, into something really, really positive that can guide others. And I feel like this is what the collective is being asked to do now, for Leo anyway. Tell me more about this Ten of Pentacles and Temperance, please. Yeah. Right. Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords, right? There's the self-deception and the self-sabotage is over. It's complete. It's done. Like, I don't think that the Leos who are of an age to have been through what we've been through in the last couple of years, to have learned the lessons and done the work that we have, we're not ever going back to this again, right? It's not happening, because what you are now is the sun. It's funny, when I first started reading tarot, like, I've actually never saw this card. Never. Right? I always saw strength. For years and years and years and years. It was, whenever my energy showed up in anything, it was always strength. And I was like, oh, that's good. There I am, strength card. But the thing with it was that over time, I started to understand that when the strength card came out, it was because things were going to continue to be hard, in the way that they had been hard forever. And it was like, every time it showed up, then my heart started to sink, because I was just like, when does it end? When does the suffering end? When do the lessons end? When will it get easier? And I never saw this card, ever. And then bit by bit, and particularly after, 2017, and I had some fairly spectacular things happen to me in August 2017 that completely changed my life. At the time, I was quite convinced it had ruined my life. Now I look back and I see it was the best thing that ever happened to me, but it took me a long time to accustom myself to the possibility that that was a thing. Bit by bit, this card started coming up more often, right? The Sun card. Because I did the work, right? The Sun card for me is about the inner child, right? It's about rediscovering who you were before all the shit got put on top of you, before you became jaded by being an adult. When you meet somebody who's in touch with their inner child and they're able to be playful while still, being a fucking adult, right? When they just get it, you can guarantee that they've had a really fucking rough time. Because as adults, nobody comes into adulthood retaining these things, because we're taught as societies that there is no value in the inner child, none whatsoever. So it gets squashed down, repressed and all that kind of thing. You meet somebody who's done that, they've gone consciously looking for it. And people only go consciously looking for it when they've had a really fucking shit time. And that's Leo. But here we are, right? I mean, take it as it resonates to you. You'll know if you've got a Sagittarian in your midst, or whether this is an energetic thing. But the future looks glorious. Like, I don't feel like I need to do an extended for you, because I think that things are just fucking working out. Let's see if we can tell me more about what's coming towards Leo in April, please. Fucking hell, there's just fucking shit flying out everywhere. Wow. But you know what? I'm going to fucking take them all. At the bottom of the deck, we've got the King of Wands. Now, that might be you, or that might be, you know, a person that you're dealing with. The King of Wands is strictly Leo, but it could be another fire sign, right? So it could be you really fucking ready to lead now, really up in your power. That's possible. But it could be who it is who's knocking around in your environment. These cards that all came out here that I wasn't going to take, and then I turned them over and looked at them and I was like, well, fucking I'm going to take them actually. We've got the Strength card, right? And I think the fact that those come out together is absolutely fucking glorious, right? It's not one or the other, right? You don't rock this energy at the expense of this one, right? You now own them both. So when shit goes down, you can be relied on to be strong and see yourself and your loved ones through. But ultimately, you are now in a place of peace compared to where you have been for a very long time in your life, you know. But more than that, you're throwing out your heat for the other signs now. Now it's time to lead. Illuminating everybody's fucking life and putting, you know, warming them up with the power of the fucking sun. And then these three cards. We've got the Lovers, the Ten of Pentacles again, and the Mage, right? You're moving into real manifesting territory now. And it seems like what you are manifesting is either this commitment with, you know, the Lovers, this commitment with potentially a Sagittarius, or potentially, you know, an Aries as well, that's possible. Or just somebody who displays the characteristics of a King of Wands. Yeah. Or you are just healing yourself up now to the point where you are so in charge of everything. You know, you can literally choose what you want to do, and you can do anything. You are limited only by your own imagination. You're aligned inside and out. Right, and this is something that the other signs are really struggling with at the moment, and this is maybe somewhere that Leo can help them. Right, your internal space and your external space are now one and the same. The frequency that you are resonating at, the vibration that you are throwing out into the universe, is aligned, and that is the most powerful way to manifest that there is. And that's where you're at. And what you're going for is this Ten of Pentacles, not once, but twice. What you're going for is the Lovers, not once, but fucking twice. You know, I think it's absolutely glorious. And I've literally nothing else to say, but Leo, like, you deserve this. You've earned it. And I'm not going to tell you you should welcome it in, because I think that you do understand that. You do know that you have earned this. And I think that you wear it lightly, you know. There's no strutting about with this. It's just acceptance. You know, we've grown as a collective. We're different now. And my child is at the door, so that seems like a really good place to leave it. And I'll speak to you soon.